Okay, so we're going to get all the folds to go the way they got to go. This is going around this corner like that. Okay, so for the back side, we're going to come this way with it. And here's my challenge. I've got this fabric, and the goal is to get as much of the excess fabric pulled tight as you can before you start. So as I open this up and look inside, I want you to imagine that it's a picture frame. There's a line here that's a miter line, just on a 45-degree angle. So on either side of that miter line is really, this part of it belongs to that back piece, and this part belongs to the side. So you can tack your show cover up to, but not beyond this boundary line. So that miter line, this line, forms that boundary that we have to respect as we bring this cover in. So I can pull and pull and pull as hard as I can to get this fabric in. And I can put that last tack here, but as you can see, that tack is just on that side of that black line. And the same thing on the other side. I can bring this tack in and I can pull it and get as much fabric as I can away so that this tack is pretty much opposite the other guy, but I still have this middle here in the center where I can't let this guy tack on this side and that guy tack because they're going to interfere with each other when I try to fold it. So now what I've got left here, and let me just illustrate the technique of repositioning. To the extent that I can get this tighter, I'll go ahead and reposition these tacks a number of times, whatever's required to get better tacks, whatever's required to get that nice and tight. So we get it down to this point, and now, one more time, it's going that way. So I'm going to take my soft fingers, and I'm going to roll this fabric, and I'm going to try to tuck with my regulator. I'm going to try to tuck the excess in so it's in here, or the back of the regulator, so that that's the fold. Okay? And the idea here is this bulk of extra material is in the way, and that's the part I got to get rid of. So what I want to do is illustrate a way to cut away the excess material without cutting away the part that you need. So we're going to hold this up tight, and this canvas will hold a pretty nice edge. So I think you can see that that forms a line that's pretty clear. That's the line of the edge of the fold, right at this point. So what I want to do is come on the downhill side of that. In other words, this fold is going this way. So I want to be about a ½ an inch under that line, and I want to come here like this, and that's the part I want to remove. I can't cut right here exactly along this line because that's too sharp of an edge and it's going to show. So I got to leave a little bit here to fold, so my cut is going to be like this. I'm going to cut down, right down into the bottom, right at the frame and stop. Then I'm going to come back on basically about a 45, and I'm going to take out this triangle. So with this extra fabric removed, now I've got a chance to say, all right, the reason I left this little ½ inch edge is that's the part that's going to fold inside the fold. So I can tuck this in and turn it and tuck it and turn it and tuck it. And now I've got my one little tack here in the way. Now I can take this and pull it. Now what I did is I left, as you can see, I cut about a ½ inch in. Now I recognize that the way this fabric is behaving, and they're all a little different, I can be a little more brave, I can cut a little more. So you start with a ½ inch line on the downhill side, and then gently, little by little, you can take more and do it in stages so you know that you have enough to fold. So I'll take a little bit more and see how that behaves. And say, okay, how's that look? Fold and fold and fold. Pull this in. And you go, well, you know, that's pretty good, but I still have a bunch of excess here. I think I can get a little more. Okay, let's do more. And again, my purpose here is to try to encourage you to do it in stages in all of the steps so you don't feel like you're losing control. You have the ability to say, you know what, let me just do it slowly. I'm not exactly perfect on this. I'm going to take this. Now I got a little bit left to fold. Tuck this in. Tuck it in. Put the excess under here. Okay, now, there's a little bit of an extra fold here. I hope you can see it. I'm just going to try to work that with my little regulator point and get that to come really, really nice and tight. And we're going to get a nice sharp tack. Come here, you. Okay, that's the goal. We're trying to get a nice, sharp, tight little fold. So that's one. Now we got to go and work around the other three corners. And again, if you're first starting out, I think the easy thing, if it helps you, is go ahead and take a pencil, make a miter line from the corner to the inside corner of this frame, and just think in your mind that that's the zone I have to work to. I can come one side to that line and then come the other side. So pull and pull and pull as tight as you can. Come right up against that line. Same thing on the other side. This one can be repositioned. And we're going to come right here, pull and pull and pull, tight up against that line. So this fold's going that way. Okay, so we look down at it and go, yep, it's going that way. There's a little bit of excess in here. Make sure I pull. Let me try this one more time. You can position these tacks however many times you need to, but let's pull that really, really tight and get it so it's happy. So here's our excess material, pulled and drawn up nice and tight. So let me do this cut one more time. Start out with a line that, here's the edge of the fabric. I'm going to stay away from that, and I'm going to fold this way. So my line is about a ½ inch down, like that, and then along that same diagonal line we just marked on the frame. And this is the part that's coming out. All right, so one more time. We'll cut down the ½ inch line and cut in on the 45. Now obviously, it would be a really bad thing if you cut the other side. So you got to take your time, cut in there carefully, and as you can see, I've cut basically really right here along in my 45 line. So now you take your soft fingers and see how it goes. Take this, maybe my other favorite tool other than a regulator is a simple folder. For those of you in the art world or the book world, these are made in animal bone. They're called bone folders. This is just a hard maple, or I like tiger maple, pretty maple. You can take a smooth stick, a popsicle stick, any sort of a small, blunt, not really sharp edge that's going to damage your fabric, and use that as a tucker or a folder as well. So I'm going to tuck this in, tuck it in, and go, yeah, see, that's pretty good. It's like the other one. I still have a little bit too much excess here, so let's make one more cut. Now, because of the experience on that side, I'm going to be a little more brave, and I'm going to try to make this in 2 cuts instead of 3, being careful not to cut the back side. So I've taken away 2 pieces of excess. I'm going to leave a little bit there to fold in, and tuck this corner, and fold, and pull, and fold, and pull, until it is tight. And we'll get a little tack here. So sometimes the back of my regulator is as useful to me as the pointy part. I use both ends. And here goes that little corner. Now obviously on the back you can be a little bit less careful, but I like to try to make them all good. Do your back corners first, practice, save your front corners for the end. As they say in the people that make tea tables, put your best foot forward. Put your best corner at the front.